Mr. Hargrave here today, and we're doing a bit of a follow-up on our Blitz Secrets video. It was requested that I go through my Blitz roster and kind of show how I have that optimized to get so many wins up on 8.3. What we mean by 8.3 is tier 8 and 0.3 here. This is as high as you can go for your multiplier, for the 4 times multiplier on the points. We'll do a blitz run here towards the end of the video. We have 15 minutes left on our cooldown here. We're doing the blue and red ore blitzes right now, coming down off of Masked Man. Masked Man we placed right around where I thought I would. A little lower. I could have performed better. If you watch my other video, a lot of people were saying you could have won more. Get good. And I hear you. I could have won more. I could have gotten good. I did 40 million. I wasn't really motivated to try. Let's have a look at where the cutoff was. So to get top 100, I would have had to have pushed up to 50, which I just wasn't prepared to do. Wasn't ready for it. So I didn't. And I knew I would very easily coast into the top 1% rewards just by doing what I was doing, and you know, kind of minimal effort, really, minimum to moderate effort to get to 40 million. And speaking of comments, of course I am a war god. No, I am not. I am not the best player of this game. And my strategies, what I'm sharing with you on these videos, isn't what perhaps the title of the video or the clickbait image has proclaimed, and I do apologize for that, for misleading you. I am not God's gift to Marvel Strike Force. What I am is an open-minded individual who has been existing in the top 20 of this game, top 20 in alliances, you know, not top 20 in players, not top 20 in total collection power or anything of that nature. So when we look at my roster, what we're looking at is, and we can actually come out of here. It'll be easier to look at if we look at it in the roster screen. What we're looking at, number one, this is made for war, and I can't wait to have separate tabs so that I can have separate rosters for war and for arena and for blitz, because this is not optimized for blitz. This is my war roster. And if you watch my videos where we talk about my war teams, I think the biggest criticism that I'm getting is that, oh, you're punching down. See you on chat there. I do all my videos live, so thanks for dropping in and saying hi. Yeah, I'm punching down. I'm intentionally doing that. Yeah, I'm punching down. My loss rate in war is somewhere around 5%. I don't lose, and it's not that I'm always just picking off low-hanging fruit. I don't wait until the end of war to take my attacks. I usually attack early. We're getting into a different topic here, and we'll get into these blitz teams in a second, but I did want to address this and why we're looking at my roster and why it is the way it is because I have optimized my roster, and perhaps I pulled a little too much off my war defense. I've cleared that with everyone else in my alliance. They know I've done that. And the reason why is because I am on this game more than anyone else in my alliance. For whatever reason, I have a desk job. I don't do much else, especially right now with this. We're still in the middle of a quarantine kind of situation in New Jersey where I live. Anyways, I digress. Let's get on to these blitz squads and explain what's happening here. So I have them in ascending order. Down at the bottom, I have the weakest team, my hand team. I normally will lose with this. And what we're going to do at the end of this video too, which is kind of cool, is we're going to look, we're going to pull up a roster. I got some screenshots from one of my alliance mates, one of my arena mates, one of my best friends in game, really. He's with me everywhere. I can't get rid of him. But he does about 2 million every Blitz run. I do 1.5 million. So I'm lower down. I'm not as good at Blitz. I still get top 1% every time, so I can't complain. And you can too, if you have a similar roster power or a little under. I definitely got that comment too. Hey, I got 2 million less power than you, and I still make that. I do better than you. Great, that's awesome. You might have your teams a little different than I do for that, and I could definitely optimize this. This is not optimal for Blitz. I normally lose with these two teams right here, just to drop down to tier 7. And then I skip this team and I skip this team. Sometimes I'll use this. Sometimes I'll accidentally win with one of these guys up on 8-3. I don't know what it is. Just a really weird fringe match, and sometimes they'll win. So you can win. You can win with your hand team on 8.3. I think what I'd have to do is I'd have to take up these two characters that are in the blue range here and bring them up to the purple where the other ones are. I'm not willing to do that. Maybe I should. It really wouldn't be that much of a spend to do that. And then I would have another winning team on 8.3. So as we talk here, I'm kind of convincing myself to maybe get a little better at Blitz. But those are the kind of things you need to do. If you want to go from 1.5 million to like 2 million, and we'll look at my friend's roster, we'll see it. He wins with every single team. He goes to 8.3 and he wins with them all. I think maybe he has one bad hand team that he does not win with, but everything else is a win for him. And he hunts for the wins, and I'll show you how to hunt for wins. Once again, I've been showing that a lot. I think it's very important to hunt for wins. If you want more points, you can't just take the initial matches that are given to you all the time. You got to look for them. You got to spend some effort. Okay. So once again, all this down here, not optimal, not what you should do. Okay. This is just what I've done to kind of piece together the scraps that are left over after war. This is primarily a war roster that doubles as a Blitz roster because I only have one save squad screen, and I'm in the game all the time, but I don't have time all the time to flip around teams for different things. So I just kind of had the one roster. This team might do really good, especially after Moon Knight lands. This is going to be one of my top Blitz teams for sure. We'll get Luke Cage out of here and get Moon Knight in here, and this is gonna really win a lot of fights, I have a feeling. I know a lot of their bonuses come in war, but I think it's gonna be a good synergy team that's gonna win a lot. I've always been, anything really good, I'll move up into the top of my roster and use that. When we're down here, it's just like, this is a little iffier. I prefer to win with this down lower in tier than 8.3. It just gets to be too much time. That's another thing. It's like, when we're doing Sim Blitz, I'm not trying to, I used to do 20 minutes a run, right, in Blitz. It's too much time, and I don't want to get back to that. I don't want to spend 20 minutes per run 8 times a day on blitzing. It's not that fun. So I just want to, that's why I drop the tiers down to tier 7 and go from there. I don't want to, I try as hard as I would need to try to get a good match for this Fury Coulson. It would be difficult. And what you want to do still is get the power levels kind of equal. And I think we're gonna see that when we go over to my friend's roster and look at that. Is we're gonna see that his teams are equal. Like here, I would bring up Assaulter, right? A lot of the problem is I used to have my roster that way when we used to Blitz, a couple years ago. That used to be the only thing you did, was just try to get all your characters the same power level, so that because your opponent, the team you're going up against is scales to the power of the team that you take in, right? And you can fudge that. I'll show you how that works too. Where you can kind of, if you take in a lower power one, you can lock in a certain set of certain teams, and then go up to the next team and get the same set of teams, and kind of punch down it with your Blitz, which is a nice technique to use. We do use that. So yeah, here I would need to take up Graviton or take up Security, or guard and graviton to kind of get them up to these levels. The problem is a lot of times this is maxed, and the only way to get him higher is to put a red star on him. And so I'm not going to do that. And it kind of messed up the whole system when red stars came in. It was like, well, I can't balance these teams anymore. Now I'd have to really start breaking up meta teams, which we're doing here. Like we're taking Iron Fist and putting him on this brawler team. He is a hero brawler, so he works on there in theory. And I'll tell you another thing I'm doing now is I am only simming. I'm not playing these matches. So I don't actually know how good this team is. I have no idea. I've never actually played this team, which is a huge disadvantage. So if you really want to check your teams, your Blitz teams, and make sure they're good, you have to take the sim Blitz off and play the match and check it out. And I think that's going to really improve your scores in your Blitz teams is by actually playing them. Like, I know this team sucks. It's scraps. Like I said, it's a war-focused roster. This is not ideal. Here's another one. This is crap. I don't use this for anything. This is just scraps. I think maybe I even threw this on defense just to be weird. It's not good. I haven't invested enough in the Dad Bros here. I know they're fantastic characters, but I just that's another thing I'm doing. Another reason why I'm using these weird war teams and weird teams in general is because I have skipped teams. I never built up my Fantastic Four. I know, gasp. I never did it. So they're underpowered. They're not right. So when someone's telling me, hey, why are you using Ultron this weird way? Why aren't you just putting them on Fantastic Four and beating Marauders, idiot? Well, I haven't built up my Fantastic Four, and I don't want to. I don't see the point, and I don't see the value in it. I've shifted my roster in a different direction. I'm pretty, spending wise. We're like a guppy, $40 a month, that kind of situation. Less, depends on the month. The battle pass was a big change, of course. That kind of makes it like a mandatory 20 at my level, just to be in on that. It's a little rough, but and honestly, I got to really think about that the next time the battle pass comes up if I'm going to do that. But let's try not to get sidetracked here. Okay, this team is like a military kind of focused team with Captain Marvel and Winter Soldier. Once again, just scraps because I kind of broke up my PIM team. I threw this one on here. We're still in the not expected to win category. I have a not expected to win category of my roster and an expected to win category. So right here, we're still going to be kind of low on tiers maybe. Maybe we took a few losses. Maybe we're on tier 7. And we'll do the run here in a second too so I can show you exactly how I run that and where I get points and plenty of room for optimization here. Okay, does it matter that much? No, it doesn't, especially if you're doing it 8 times a day. You're going through your whole roster, you're mostly winning. You're probably gonna get anywhere between 1.3 and 2 million per run, and that 0.7 per run is a lot of room for optimization, but you got to do some stuff to your roster to get there and invest the time that it takes to kind of cycle through your teams and make sure you get through the wins. It's kind of like almost like a lifestyle change to get 2 million per run. We'll see. When save squads come, when we get some more tabs here on save squads, I'm sure I'll play with Blitz optimization a lot more than I have now. I'll tell you right now, this is very, very lazy. I am coasting on my power alone. It's not a lot of. I'm not using any skill. You might be using. If you're lower than me and you're getting top 1%, like if you're significantly lower than me in power and you're getting top 1% wards, then you are very skilled, and I think that is awesome. I think the point of my video is that you're not locked out. I know a lot of people come to me and they say, hey, is it even worth trying to Blitz? And they have more combat power than me, right? And I'm like, yeah, you just have to run your roster. Like it literally does not matter what you do. If you commit to doing it 8 times a day and just kind of cycling through your teams, you're gonna get top 1% rewards, or whatever your class is. I mean, it's very easy. You can make it more complicated than it needs to be. Okay, here we are, and we are at where I kind of expect to win, starting with Skilletary. And so when I get here, I want to be at 8.3, and I want to win every single match on the way up. And these teams are they're pretty cookie cutter. I do have Sinister Six without Doc Ock, and the reason for that is I do use it on a very weird war team up top. And this team wins just fine, especially if I find a Defenders team to take it against. It's pretty sure to win. Also works good on Coulson teams. This also kind of tests, I like to semi-test some of my war theories with this stuff. I know the counters for all these teams, or what teams I fight with these in war, so I normally kind of pick those if I can. Power armor's been when I played it manually, I never liked it because it requires you to skip abilities and not put it on auto. But I do find it wins on auto just fine. Same with Inhumans. Astonishing X-Men is probably one of the best teams that's been in the game since Black Order. So this is a really good Blitz team, and I'm putting a lot into it to bring it up to one of my top teams. I don't think it can go wrong. It can beat just about everything. You can really see its power when you take it into Blitz, and you just always win. Supernatural is still dicey on Sim Blitz. It is better if you play it. It has a lot to do with where you put the abilities, how well it wins. So it's tricky to find a match for it. This is something that I would like to drop down lower, but the power's so high, I kind of need it to win. So I do hunt for easy wins for that. Brotherhood is still very good in Blitz. It beats a lot of things. You can go wrong with it in a few places, especially if you take it up against some of the newer meta. But most of the time, it brings in steady wins. We have X-Force. X-Force is very hard to deal with in Blitz because they don't get their huge war bonuses. So that makes it very difficult to get easy wins with them. I know one thing you can do to make it better is to put Storm on the team. Take out, I think it's Domino. You got to play with it for your power. I mean, you can see mine are all kind of up around the same level or higher. This team is poorly optimized for Blitz. This is not a good Blitz team the way I have it here with Deadpool being so weak and X-23 being so strong. I'm almost assuredly going to get into a situation where I'm making something overpowered that they can't handle. Okay, here's my weird Ultron team, that I use in war, and everyone's like, why are you punching down? Why are you breaking your meta teams to make this? Look, it works for me. And what it's about is when you go into war, and I'm going to break from this just for another second. When you go into war, what I want to do is get the highest damage per attack that I can. And it's going to be punching down most of the time. Because my team is so inflated in power, I can't not punch down. I would have to be in a top 10 alliance to always punch up with this stuff. And I don't want to be in a top 10 alliance. I could. I imagine I have the connections and abilities and reputation that I probably could move up into the top 10. Would I last there for very long? No. I don't think I would. I'm very happy where I'm at. I'm very happy in my niche under my rock here in the top 20. I'm doing fine. I don't you can ask my alliance leader, the people I'm in my alliance with. I'm not a detriment to the alliance. I'm not hurting anybody. I'm usually doing rather well. I'm not getting MVP. I'm not that good. My roster isn't there. The best thing you can do for your war roster, for your Blitz roster, for any part of this game, is to buy all the teams and max them out. But I don't have that kind of money, and I'm guessing that most people watching this video don't either. So that's why we're using weird teams like this. It's to maximize what we have. And the reason why I put this team together and why I like this team, just going on a bit of a mini rant here, is I've taken Minerva to tier 15. I've taken Ghost to tier 15. I'm going to take Dr. Octopus to tier 15, right? And I want to use them. I am not going to take the rest of the team that Minerva would go on to tier 15. It's going to make a lopsided Blitz team is one thing. It's going to make a useless war team. It's going to just make things weird for me in war. Dr. Octopus. Yeah, I've got a great Dr. Octopus, but I don't have a great Sinister Six. So what am I going to do with that? Okay, I'll put it on defense and maybe I'll get a defense win. Doesn't really matter. From the way that we play wars, we go for speed and attack efficiency instead of war defense. Most alliances do. Most alliances that win more go for that. And we don't win more. We win less by intention. We intentionally do take a couple wars off every season just so that we don't match the top 20 and we don't have to play with people who have maxed out rosters. And I'm going to make a separate video on why people lose in wars and give some insight into that as well. There's a lot to that. But all right, moving on. I think I've defended this team enough. I'm not going to change it. It's not until things make sense. Go up to the Zemo team. Once again, another meta breaker. I got 3 controversial teams right here in a row. I think this one's less controversial now. And here's the thing. Okay, I did this months ago. I took Red Skull and put him with Zemo back when it happened, back before it happened. And everyone said, you're an idiot. What are you talking about? I'm not going to take my Red Skull up at defense. He's great. He's not. He's not. He wasn't at the time and he isn't now. What works on defense now is Red Skull and Zemo. And if you can sacrifice that attack power to do that to somebody, it is a very good defense team. I've seen it beat Inhumans, strong Inhumans, and not an incredibly strong team at that. So it is very good, and it can do some very nasty things to your opponent. You take it's this trinity of Red Skull, Zemo, and Hydra Grenade that just make you can put any two. It doesn't matter. Loki and Hela are here just to bring up the attack power. Really, I debate this every day, but I just don't care about Asgardians on defense. My Asgardians are very lopsided. All the powers in Hela and Loki, so I just put them up here. You can beat Marauders with this easily. This is an amazing team. You can beat Mercs with this. You can beat Coulson teams with this easily. Other Hydra falls easily to this. Anything... within reason here, this thing's going to beat, especially things that have minions, since Zemo preys on them, but it's a great team. Pretty easy to win with in Blitz, too. All right, here's another one. So yeah, I took Marauders and I added them to X-Men. It counters these huge Black Bolt Coulson teams that you see. And it can punch across on it easily. I don't know if it can punch up on it because I don't see 700,000 power Coulson and Black Bolt. That's why I've made it. That's why I've done it, because you don't see it. It does counter a team that gets large, not this large, especially with war buffs on it. But it's a very tricky team to beat with anything else. This wins 100% of the time so far. Should everyone do it? No. No, I don't want my whole alliance to do this. It depends on what you have. I have lopsided Marauders. All the power is in Emma and Mr. Sinister, and the rest is not. So pretty much anyone with a brain can beat it. I'm not going to insult you and say, oh, I think I'm my weak Mr. Sinister and my kind of good Emma are going to foul you up. You're going to send in something weak. No, I'm not. I don't think that way. I don't think versus you. I think versus the computer, because that's what war is. It's not. All right, let's get back to Blitz. It's a good Blitz team, too. Symbiotes, actually a little dicey in Blitz. I find I got to hunt a little bit for a good... I need an off-meta team. They will lose to things. They will lose to the defenders that they match, because Punisher gets that huge buff towards villains. I've seen this lose to defenders in Blitz. It's distressing. All right, Black Order's king. It beats everything. And just don't send it up against other Black Order teams, because I don't know how that would go. Let's have a look and see if we can do a Blitz run. I hope that explains it a little more, why my roster is the way it is. And we're going to look at a good roster here in just a second. Okay, now we're getting into it. Let's do the Blitz run. So we're going to go and lose. I don't really try runs at 8.3 to try to win with everybody on 8.3. I think it would my assumption is that it would take me. I think I'm going to win this fight. No, yeah, you see, I won the fight. So I'll just have to lose a little more to get myself back down to where I want to be. Okay, we'll lose this one. Brotherhood, we'll take this out. We'll go up to this, and we'll take another loss. Yeah, I can, as Guardians can beat this. Good, okay. All right, so now we're at tier 7. We're where we want to be. And I'm looking for, this is going to be fine, especially at tier 7. Yeah, all right. Yeah, your Wave 1 Avengers are a really solid team. Mine are not. My Hulk and Hawkeye are really holding it back. If those were built up more, they would be a top tier. They would be a top tier Blitz team. This is going to be an easy win. These are a lot of garbage tunes in here, non-meta, obsolete. and Coulson's pretty solid. AIM pretty good. Great Blitz team. I've seen this. It went on 8.3. This is a good Blitz team. They just do a lot of stuff well together. Okay, this is not a good Blitz team. I'm looking for healers. I love seeing a healer because normally what will happen in a match like that is that healer will go down first, leaving you with a 5-on-4, making it really easy for you to win. This team sucks, so I really have to find, is this bad enough? I guess we'll find out. Okay, it was fine. I would have taken a loss there too. I like to take my losses when it'll knock me down a full tier instead of just knock me down a notch, because then it'll make it easier for the next team. Whereas opposed to if I lost now, the next team would still be on tier 8. I wouldn't have changed much. It wouldn't really be helping me. Can Mercs beat Technerva? I'll do this one for science. Normally, I think I would pass this and try to find something easier. Yeah, no, they can't. It's close. You can see it's pretty close, but they don't have... they're missing some war buffs, too, when you use them in Blitz. You got to keep that in mind. Teams that should be better are sometimes not. I think this can beat Guardians. Okay, it can. And Fantastic Four. This has more synergy than this. So I'm going to go against this, and it should be fine. Fantastic Four, once again, doesn't get all those war buffs. Not as good in Blitz as it would be if it did. I wish they would give us the war buffs in Blitz just to make our lives a little easier. I like this better. It doesn't link up as much. Here we have more Guardians that could provide some synergy. Big Wolverine. And what we're doing when we win, let me explain how the Blitz matching works. So I've pulled this team has pulled this team. Now when I go up, this team has the same teams. So it has pulled, when you arrange your roster close together in power like this, so I can even keep going up, right? I can cheat this to all right, this is new teams. So I can come back down, I can easily beat this. And this is how we kind of cheat the system and pull more wins. This is what you really got to do when you're up on 8.3 is do more of this. So this has pulled these teams, right? This team has pulled this garbage team. If I go up now, even though this team's better in numbers, I still get the same team. And then if I go to a big power difference, it's going to pull new teams. These are different teams. And might be a bit, this is an easier team to beat than the other ones I was looking at. So I'm going to go ahead and just take a Skeleton. Oh, no. I don't know why that lost. Maybe it was this Scream here. She's pretty nasty. She might have tore him up. I thought that was pretty off looking, but that's okay. We dropped the tier back down, so maybe I can get a win now with this bad team back here. Yeah, I like this one. No. All right, so I've screwed up this Blitz run. This is how you do it improperly. This is not a good Blitz run. And the reason why for that is I should be up on 8.3 by the time I'm into my sure to win team. So this is going to be less points than I possibly could have got because I made a couple of misplays there. I don't know. It looked like to me like those were going to win, but I guess I was missing something. Especially when you start seeing some of these matches are not anything I've ever done before. They're getting a little better with mixing these up. I'd say, back when it first was out, you kind of saw more of the same things coming out. Like, I honestly can't say I've seen Scream very much at all. Whereas now, I just saw her and met with some bad results over it. All right, sorry for not commentating these. Once again, we're still looking healer. And I have to think less hit. So now we're back up to 8.3 where we want to be. And it doesn't matter that much. I mean, if we take another loss here, we'll look at what happens to the multiplier when we go down to just 8 instead of 8.3. But it's not like a huge difference. You're not, as long as you're not like on tier 5 up here running this. And it is better to run the full roster than just to run like I could just run the sure to win portion of this. There are people that do that and they end up with very similar totals, but it is better if you don't have the time to drop down the tiers and win all the way through than to just focus on like the top teams. That's always been more effective, more points. I used to only run like a few teams in Blitz, but every 2 hours. And still get top 1% rewards. I did not have to ever run my full roster. I only started running my full roster. I don't know if this is gonna win. Okay, I won. I don't know if I ever. I never ran my full roster back when we did manual Blitz. It took too much time. Okay, and that's it. So that's a Blitz run. All right, let's go look at my friend's teams and see what we can find out about how he has those optimized and what we could do to better optimize our rosters. Let me get in here, and I just have to switch this screen over. Figuring out my my software every day a little more, so do bear with me. This should do it. There we go. Okay, and let me get into this. All right, so this is the bottom of his roster. He's got this inverse to mine where he has his weakest teams up top. And I believe he has this optimized for Blitz. He does not have this optimized for War. So he doesn't have the weird split where I have, where it's like my War teams are up top and my Blitz teams are on the bottom. So I don't believe he expects to win with this, but starting right here, he's winning on 8.3. And if we look at this, it's pretty evened out. I would say maybe he could bring up his guard a little more. And then he has Skilletary with Hand Century. And I think that's to keep the power levels kind of even. And maybe to keep another meta team together. So he's definitely focused on winning on Blitz. And he's tested these. So if they're not winning, he's messing with them to make sure they do win. And that's important. So if something's not winning, you want to, like this. I imagine that this combination of Dad Bros plus 3 is winning. He can find a match for that. Because this has nothing to do with Dad Bros, right? This has nothing to do with Shatterstar and Longshot. It's just Shatterstar and Longshot winning with some heals. These two are just keeping these guys alive, and then they're just going nuts. All right, he's taken Ultron. This is an old trick where we take Ultron and we put it with 4 like whatever, and it wins. We're also kind of getting a little villain tech bonus here. This is a nice low villain tech team that we can run. This is very good. I like the strategy behind that. Astonishing X-Men, just gonna win. Here's our mercs. Straight mercs. We haven't mixed it up. We want to try to keep the meta teams together, it looks like. Short of Killmonger, who we've pulled for something else. Probably due to power level. I don't know, because we have a huge Shuri here. But I'm guessing he's tested this and it wins. We got Avengers plus Coulson. Because Coulson, I'm guessing he has a solo Fury team where he doesn't have Coulson on it, just to get the most out of all the minions who normally get benched in most people's plans, just to get like an extra team. As we're seeing here, all of his teams, really, he's only got 3 teams under 300K. Everything else is 300K. So we're at 300K, we're starting to maximize Blitz points per win. So very smart to have your roster like that. If you're looking, this is 2 million per run is what he does. So this is like the best that I haven't. If you can top 2 million per Blitz run, please down in the comments, let me know. If you want to post your roster somewhere, that is even better. I would love to check it out and see what you're doing. If you're willing to share that with everybody. And I did check with him. He is willing to share this, so that's very nice of him. Thank you to Sangfreud in my alliance and in my arena shard. Great guy. All right, so we're going to go to this is the next part of his roster. Bring this up right where we left off. Got a nice brawler team here. Nothing surprising there. Okay, yeah, he's got. This is what people were doing before we were pulling Red Skull, as we were sticking Kingpin on here because some other content creators said it was great. Yeah. Anyways, it's not you want Red Skull on here, but for Blitz, this is probably fantastic. Yeah, it's a great team. Hydra Grenade and Zemo are really good together. You get a little bit of synergy happening over here with Crossbones and Winter Soldier. It's enough for Blitz. It's enough at this power level that you're okay. The problem is if you start investing in Hydra Grenade and Zemo, you got to kind of bring up the rest of this. Specifically these guys. Kingpin's never going to help you. Specifically these guys to kind of make them work at a bigger level. And then it starts to, the strategy of taking Red Skull on here and Hela and Loki makes more sense when you realize there is no way on the planet Earth that this team will ever beat a Marauders team. And then you go, well, I just use Fantastic Four plus Ultron to beat Marauders. Okay, good. Use that. Sometimes in our alliance, someone has to take on multiple Marauder teams, just be due to availability. Someone's not around, someone messes up an attack, whatever. You need more jackknives, unless this only does this. To be a little more flexible in War 2, there's things you can do with that. And once again, I'm ranting about War in a Blitz video, so I'll shut up. Okay. Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy, good synergy. He's got a nice standard. Sinister Six here. He's putting Goblin instead of what you typically see, which is Swarm. Swarm was up top there in that villain tech team, I believe. And yeah, as I predicted, he's got a nice Fury team here using the minions. Defenders, straight Defenders is good. I actually had a problem winning with Defenders in Blitz for a long time, for years, just because they're just so underwhelming as a team. I'm happy to see that they're starting to get some additions to their team. I'm wondering if he's gonna get a Shadowverse team once that becomes a thing. His aim's very good. It's an exceptional aim with a 7 red stars. Scientist Supreme. Kind of sad to see Scientist Supreme follow the meta. She was pretty big there for a bit, but I imagine this is still working nicely for him in Blitz. All right, he's got Supernatural, Power Armor, Fantastic Four. There's nothing to see here. These are just good teams that are easy to win. Let's just look at the last page. I imagine we're just getting more boring and more typical. The interesting stuff was definitely at the bottom of his roster where he was doing the optimizations. Brotherhood. I'm going to run this by my analysis by him too and see what he thinks as far as I love this team. Wow, this is cool. You got your Kree plus Vision. That's smart. This is one that I like. I can't make it myself. I don't have the Ultimus. I'm guessing that he runs a Kree lane. He'll correct me if I'm wrong. I was just saying I'm going to run all this by him and see if he disagrees with me. I can make a follow-up if I miss anything, if I miss any insights into what he's doing. Pimtech. I didn't run vanilla Pimtech too much in Blitz, so I can't comment much on that, but I imagine it's working for him. He's got solid X-Men here. That's going to win a lot. Okay, he's got normal as Guardians. I always found them tricky to use, and you see, this is why he's better than I am, because I have this, right? But the rest of my Asgardians look like Hemdall here. So my Sif is like that. Sif's a little better. I did take her into Dark Dimension 3, but that was like a mistake. She was useless in that. But my Thor is like even weaker, like 40k or something. Ridiculous. So yeah, he probably has enough power here, and yeah, this is a good Thor. He's like a 6 red. That this is going to win for him. It wasn't winning for me. I just broke him up. It wasn't happening, and it wasn't going to get any defense wins either. Okay, Marauders. You know what? This is what I'm saying. This is exactly what I'm saying. I imagine this does okay for him in Blitz, and I imagine that. I can't imagine he's getting wins on defense. I'll have to ask him if he's getting wins on defense with this because all the power is in Mr. Sinister and Emma. There's really nothing going on here with the rest of the team. So I imagine any team that counters this is just going to rip it apart. Whereas his X-Men team is very strong outside of Psylocke. So I don't know if I would suggest him to break it up like I have, where you take Cyclops. I mean, I probably would. It depends on how he's doing with this Black Bolt Coulson team. If he's 100% on it, then I would say leave this alone and just keep doing what you're doing. Don't be weird. But if he's having a problem with it, if he took his Cyclops, Colossus, and Phoenix, combine them with Sinister and Emma, he is going to beat any Black Bolt Coulson team under the sun easily. For I think very little loss. I don't even know what this is doing in war at this point. I know it does a few things very well, but those things are so kind of niche right now. Like, I think maybe one of the best uses of this would just be on another Asgardian team, just so you don't have to use something else on it, so you can free up X-Force to do something good or whatever you're doing. But I don't know. I'll stop with my weirdness. Here is Symbiotes, nice and strong, and Black Order. Of course, they beat everything. So that is pretty much what we're looking at there. If you want to get up to that 2 million range, this is the kind of thing you need to do with your roster. Real strict optimizations. Be real focused about it. Don't get sidetracked using weird war teams like some other crazy people we know. We're gonna go ahead and bring our game back up to the top here. Once again, everybody, thanks for going through this with me. Thanks for all the subscribes, following me on Twitch. We're gonna try to be streaming wars whenever we do them here. Show you how those work. We're not gonna stream tonight. We got a war coming up tonight, but we're not gonna stream it because we're planning on taking a loss tonight. Those aren't as fun as wins. All right, everybody. As always, Hail Heartgrave.